This is what I wanted to show off, was this page for just a second. Somebody worked on this really hard and shared it in our group, and 3 of her questions were from that one page. So I thought it was great to have. I gotta move my books around just a second. I was just working on tonight's live data. Ugh. Gotta move stuff around for just a second. But wanted to give y'all something to look at. How's everybody's night? We have somebody in our group going to be taking their exam tomorrow. I hope she does a great job. Here's where I want to start for today's live on this Word document. Of course, I don't know why it does that. Yay. How's everybody doing? I just wanted to show everybody this page that one of my members of our chat group shared. She said 3 of her answers from the CPC exam were on this one page. She shared it in my chat group, and she passed her CPC exam. So I thought I'd share what details she did. The process of digestion, be sure to number it. There's one process that got left out of the descriptor that they didn't draw on the book, so there's things that you can add definitely to your anatomy. What I use is, I'm an Android person, so I use Google Lens. It's a downloadable extension to your phone, LENS, like glass lenses, and I take a picture of whatever the anatomy is in the book, and then I do a search using that picture, and then I usually find better or the same picture but better marked. Hold on one second. So I periodically have to leave back and forth just to yell at the children, so don't mind me. I'll be back right after I finish. Oh, gosh. Yep, the 3 parts of the shoulder. There is 3 parts of the knee, and this weekend we came back with 3 parts of the humerus bone. So be sure you understand the distal and proximal ends and your shaft ends of these bones, because it does matter for the CPC, but a lot of your anatomy is going there. So what I'll be doing tonight is going over a few new things that were on people's exams this weekend. Ooh. Then I'll share some updated notes that I have been working on for Lab and Path. I'm going through each CPT, seeing what it is, and researching maybe some commonalities, common terms, AKAs. What does phenobarbital mean? What condition would happen if you were using it? What's the purpose of this? Why would we be using this blood draw in this particular CPT code. Some of them are definitive, like is it positive or negative test. Some of them are what level of drug is inside that CPT code. You need to know the differences, so I want to be sure and write the difference. Like this phenobarbital is a level. You need to know how much in plain terms, and this is for a seizure disorder most commonly, or if there's another reason why they might use it, add that data to it. I'm not talking like paragraphs. I'm just talking like a couple of words that'll give you clues so that when you're reading an exam question, you're in the right spot, because some drugs are listed in both places, not only definitive or therapeutic levels, or layman's terms, how much, or is it a positive or a negative? Is it in there or not? That kind of thing can help you recognize if you're in the right spot, first of all. And then if the CPC question is saying you have a seizure patient, then you'll feel more confident in picking that drug in case the name is maybe not listed, or maybe they're giving you the manufacturer's name, and if I can find one, of course, I'll have it there, or the generic name of it. Just sometimes knowing that we draw this if we're suspecting it's drug abuse, or if we know it's drug medication related is helpful. So I'm working on a new approach with these CPT codes to see if we can't get something better than just highlighting what's already in the description, because that's not going to get us there. That might help us, I don't know, what would y'all say, like 20 to 30% of the time, having what's important in the CPT code highlighted. But what I'm finding is more helpful is the very thing that makes that CPT code special compared to the ones below it or above it. The one word, the one descriptor, the one aha moment that will make a difference. And it has to be related to what is normally asked in a CPC question. So they have patterns at AAPC on how they ask questions, common vocabulary, things that they're looking for. If I know what vocabulary they're looking for, and I know, and I have history of gathering up all their old practice exams, I have, so far, I think I have a good collection of 3 years worth of practice exam questions. And if I get 2022, as soon as it's published, that'll be 4 years of questions. I'm getting a good base of what questions they're asking on which CPT codes, and that's given me insight, auditing the exam from the exam's point of view, but also auditing the way that AAPC asks their questions about the CPT codes is leading me to see trends that I can see in these questions, and can share that insight with you and help you develop a process of recognizing what they're looking for. And it's going to be so much easier for you than looking at the questions and reading the questions and then looking through all the CPT codes with all their descriptors that come with the way AMA writes it. But if I write a note beside each CPT code the way that AAPC is looking at it, it's going to make a difference, and you'll be able to pick the right answer right away. It's going to help. Plus, if I give you the right word to do your word search through the question, then you'll be able to pick the right answer without reading the questions. Real easy too. So I also want to share everybody that I've been mentoring, if they have time, and if they are lucid enough during the middle of their exam to actually circle a code or let me know of an anatomy question they're being told or asked. As you see from chat, we're sharing that information. So as soon as people are done with their exam and we're waiting on test results, people are letting me know, okay, I had this question, I had that question, I had this anatomy term. What is this? And we'll discuss it, and I'm collecting that information and I'm letting you know what it is. So whatever's been on the exam in the last 45 days. So if you're really close to being able to take your CPC exam, more so than anything else, the anatomy is being covered by what I'm letting you know in these lives. People are going in for their exam, and yes, we got 90 questions that are all CPT code question related, but then you've got a back of the book if you're in person taking the exam. The anatomy seems to be going pretty much hand in hand with what I'm saying. It's word for word. This anatomy question is on there, this one is on there, this one is on there, and it's giving some relief and making people feel really good about leaving their exam because at least they knew all the anatomy right away, so that's super helpful. So let's go over some of the new things real quick, and then I'll let you know about the new, what I shared in my group about the lab CPT codes, and then I have some examples of process of elimination we can go over. This particular picture right here, if you want a screenshot, you are welcome to. It's been shared in my group, and she said I could share it publicly. This is somebody else's rainbow is what I call it. We rainbow up our books, but more so than just highlighting. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty of what will actually help you pass too. But she said this page, she had notes on there where 3 of her questions were from this one page right there. So if you want to screenshot that, you're welcome to, and then you can zoom in on it and see what she had to say about certain things. Absolutely, after you get it screenshot. And if this is helpful, I can keep it big in certain sections. Just let me know in chat. I'm going to catch up with chat, and then we'll go to what was on the thing. Let's see. And be sure and heart this. I think it gets it pushed out to more people. So, and then that way more people can get helped out. Parts of the shoulder, yeah. Does the Lens app work on iPhone? I don't think so. I don't know. Y'all don't even have Google. Y'all have Safari. So if you have a way to get Google on your phone, like the search engine, then of course the search engine itself, the website, you can go in, instead of typing in the word for a Google website to search something, there's a way to search by picture. You just go through I don't know, somewhere around in there. But I'll look it up in just a second, but I don't think so. If you have a desktop computer, you might be able to do Lens there. Or Apple should have its own way of doing a reverse search using photographs, I would imagine. If Google's done it, Apple's copied it and has their own thingy. But hopefully this is super helpful to anybody, because it had 3 answers on it. I'll show you, let's see, the app. Whoop, A, B, C, D, E, F, Lens. I know y'all can see it before I do. It's right there. So it's looks like a camera right there. And then I just click on that. I can add a picture that I want, or I can take a picture and do it. And I can take a picture of anything I want, and it'll go find it. Or I can add in a picture of something. My goofy kids. Let's see, what else did we got? Don't I have a picture of a CPT book? I know I do somewhere. There's the brain. Yep, we can have it search, and then it'll go search too. And then it'll find some things. And usually you can find really cool pictures that'll have more information than you have. A lot of people share a lot of their notes, but I just love Google Lens. This is great. I believe the Google thing, if you just go to Google, let's see, Google website somewhere, under these search tools, we'll be able to find where you can search by picture instead of typing in something right there. I think the search tools, you can find a picture-based thing right there. One thing that I want y'all to be sure and know is where to find me. So if you need to schedule tutoring, if your exam's coming up and you're just a couple of weeks, 4 to 6 weeks to 2 weeks away to taking your CPC exam, it is not a bad idea to go over your books and maybe go over some sections that you're low in. Like if you know you don't know a lot about E&M or cardiology or medicine, then schedule a tutoring with a mentor, even if it isn't me, anybody. My price is $27.99 right now. Next year it's going to go up, but you just let me know when you schedule it that what you want to go over. You can give me like 3 sections and we can go over that in the hour that we usually run a little late, about an hour and a half, but that's okay. And we go over a lot of really good information, and we do the practice exam questions too. I can have those ready for you. So that can be scheduled at Medical Coding by Jen if you want to. I also have screenshots. There's 2 programs on there that are free and an E&M quiz that is on there free. The 2 programs are screenshots with words that show you how to make up your book, your CPT book, the way I have, and it'll show you what all you need to add to your book to prep it for the CPC exam. YouTube, if the live is recorded by TikTok, then I post my repeat live the next morning on Coding by Jen on YouTube, and then you can watch just hours and hours of me rattling on during these TikTok lives. All the repeats are there. People are visiting the My Coding by Jen. Every time I get that notification, it means somebody's there. So that's kind of cool. I hope it's helpful. Also, the 10-question E&M quiz that's on there, it's super hard. Don't feel bad if you don't get it. It's meant for people that have already got their CPC exam certification. So it's super hard, and it's on the front of the page without logging on. Just scroll down halfway down on that page when you get there, and it's on the front page, and you can take it and it'll grade it right there for you. The second one's impossible to get. Everybody gets it wrong. That's okay. Y'all know where I'm at TikToks because y'all are here with me. And then Messenger, if you come find me at Jen Brewer on Messenger, I have a study group that is phenomenal. We talk in it every day. I share practice exam questions and pages from my CPT book, and people have even been sharing their practice quizzes where you purchase them from other vendors, and they have these practice exams. People have been sharing those, and I've been collecting those too. Etsy, if you need super fast info right now, I'm taking my exam in a couple of weeks. I don't have time to learn how to prep my book. I want page by page printout of what to put in my book. It's there on Etsy. There is a 20% coupon link in my bio here on TikTok. So if you go there on TikTok, I probably got Disney up, but there's my bio. You click on this black long link at the bottom. It'll take you to the store, but it'll also automatically put a 20% coupon in the store checkout thing for you. And I have the store on 10% off right now for Christmas, so that's 30% off of everything. You can email me there or ask questions there. And let me see, what else did I have screenshotted here for y'all? So this is an example of what's going on in our chat room where people are sharing the practice exams and stuff. I've also got, once you're in there, you can click that little eye icon at the very, very top up here. You can't see right there. Once you get there, you can scroll down and you can hit, view files or search conversations. So if you want to ask a question, you can search the conversation first to see if it's already been answered. If not, then you can ask it. Then also you can view files and media where you can see, let's see, where did I put it? I've got, this is the media files, like things we've already shared. Like today I was showing them how to hot glue the tips end of their books so that they don't end up looking like this by the end of the year. We've already got scanned pictures of our books and notes and things. This is a screenshot of what files we've shared with each other. If you do just search by file, you can find them there. And then you can also search conversations. So super helpful little group there. To be added to it, go to Jen Brewer and let me add you from that account. All my other accounts won't add at all. I got a little cat page for my kitty cat, and then I have another page for Coding by Jen where I post some stuff, but I can't add you from Coding by Jen for some reason. That group is just attached to my personal account, which is fine. Y'all can find me there and message me, and I can add you to the group if you want to be added, but it's all free. Super happy to help, and gosh, we have had 12 people pass in the last 2 weeks their CPC exam, and I know we're going to have even more come up this week. There's somebody taking it tonight, so super excited about that. Let's discuss about that exam. What's been on it in the last 2 weeks? What vocabulary have we been seeing? So service code is another AKA, which I need to get written down in here, for a particular page in our CPT book. It's actually the very first page in our CPT book. So AAPC will call this place of service professional claims page, which is in the very front of your, if you have a 2021 book. And it's probably the same in the 2022, but that's what book I'm in. I'm in the 2021 AMA version of the CPT book, and they call this a service code. CRVICE. So that's our AKA. Let me check chat real quick and make sure I don't have any questions. Does Lynn's? Yeah, I don't know. What's the question? I don't know what the question is. Hey, Connor, how's it going? Do you have any notes on icd10? I do, Tiny, and I will show them to you. And they're very good notes. It's a really good idea what I've put together so far. So, yeah, absolutely. I'll show you some ICD in just a sec. So, place of service. Hey, Sarah, how's it going? Good to see you. Hey, Shade. So, place of service is also called a service code in the CPC question. So, be sure you know that. And their question was about the group home. So, that was number 14. Be sure you know what medical necessity is. We talked about knowing the 3 bones of your shoulder, 3 bones of your knee, and be sure you know the 3 parts of your humerus bone, which I have listed right here. The difference between CPT codes 34715 and 34716. This is a page that really, if you've done any of the other people's programs online from other companies, they don't have a lot of stuff written about these pages right here, other than just boxing them. So this particular code, the 34715, is delivery. Write that right underneath that CPT code. The 34716 is creation. So the difference here is on 34715, we're just delivering an endovascular prostatic. On 34716, we're creating a conduit for delivery of a endovascular prosthetic. So one of them is delivery, one of them is creation. Now, they may say in the CPC exam that they made a conduit. They would still use that term, I'm sure. Conduit. I don't know. We might need to look at the thesaurus and see if we can find some better words for conduit. But it's a, if I'm not mistaken, conduit is like a track, an area used in an electrical building definition, but we could look up some AKA terms and I can add those to it just in case they word the question differently. I haven't seen the question that she was dealing with when she let me know this information, but she just told me that her question was related to the difference between those two codes, and that's definitely the difference. One of them's creating something and one's just delivering something, so really good to know there. They had a lot of open right compound fractures, a lot of musculoskeletal as far as anatomy goes. Some of the HIPICS codes was G0009, which is the Medicare code for administrating the pneumonia vaccine. Don't let them confuse you. We don't use CPT book for Medicare, so just use that G code. Tubal pregnancy versus molar pregnancy and the removal of the foreign body from the left third metatarsal joint. So, third metatarsal joint. So, be sure you know things like this beginning little notch in your finger is your distal. Then we've got this little notch between the two knuckles is middle. And then this is your proximal end on all those fingers. So be sure you know some more anatomy, especially when you go into the musculoskeletal section in the very front of that book. Before you start coding, there are pictures of the hand. They don't have none of that listed. Be sure you update those anatomy pictures. They have the hand drawn there, but they don't list that this is distal. And you see right there that they're actually talking about the proximal ends. So be sure you label those so you know which one's the fourth finger, which one's the fifth. You might think you know it, but make sure, verify. What part is being worked on during the My Ring? So be sure you know where this is at, what would we be talking about, and every time I see the word ring, I think bells are ringing in your ear, right? So those are ears. Be sure you know the differences between the allograft and autograft. Auto, it's not on this page, but autograft is you're driving the car. That body part or that skin graft belongs to you. It's your part from your body somewhere. Now, allograft is spelt with two L's. So I imagine that having two legs and somebody's walking somebody else's body part to you. And that's the two differences. Super helpful to visually think about those kind of things, especially when there's just two letters differences in the vocabulary. So allografts, somebody else's body part is being walked to you. Autograft, you're the driver, it's your skin. So think about those kind of things when you're thinking about anatomy. And if you see things that are super close together like that, then they'll probably be picked on. So learn the differences. Therapeutic procedure for neuromuscular reduction and movement and balance and coordination as far as sitting and standing. They use that CPT code, the 97112 this weekend. This lab rhinitis, whatever in the heck how you say that, that's just an inflammation of the inner ear. So they have been picking on the lacrimal gland, your tear duct, which starts with a D-A-C-R-Y. Day cry. I always think of Draco. He's a big crybaby, and it looks like Draco's name to me in Harry Potter. Oh my gosh. Who is calling me? You want to bet this is about your car insurance? I bet it is. Hello?
Dear, Verizon wireless customer, your account has been suspended for verification.
It has not been suspended for verification. Don't you love those spam people? I know it was spam because it was the same area code as mine. I work out of California but live in Arizona, so my area code is 760. And I was hoping it was the car guy because I just laugh every time they talk about your, we're trying to reach you for your car's extended warranty. I just love it. But dang it, they had a new spiel today. Oh well. So they were, this weekend, it was all about ears because they had the lab rhinitis and then they had the my ring up here, right? So the week before, it was all about the eyes, the Draco eye, but it's really DACRY. And it could have been an infection. It could have been a removal of so there was a removal, there was an itis for infection, but be sure you know DACRY is all about the tear duct, about our crybaby Malfoy of the Harry Potters. Let's see. Be sure you know what the meta. It's the place where you do CPR on, right there. I can't ever pronounce that one, but it's the central compartment of your thoracic cavity. So, ambulance service, another hit picks that we were talking about, was A0427. This is for ambulance service, just a level 1 though. The other code that is not listed here was for an S code for a rental of a glucose machine for a diabetic. I was real shocked in seeing that they were using temporary codes on their CPC exam because these codes can move and go to different locations. They get updated quarterly. The hit picks do, not yearly. So how do you manage that when you put it on your CPC exam? So, and they're slow about updating anything as it is. So I was pretty shocked about that one. So just know it's back there in the S's, which are temporary codes, and they come and go as they please. Be sure you understand when time starts with anesthesia, and it's not when the anesthesiologist is talking to the patient. Like I've stated before, there's a little difference in this. They may come to the patient's room and check them out and see when if they have any loose teeth, ask them if they have any allergies. Have you ever had anesthesia before? Those kind of things. How did you react to it? That particular little talk that they might have might last 3 to 4 minutes, but then they'll meet them in the OR and then start preparing them with the anesthesia. When they meet them in the OR and they start administering and preparing the injections for anesthesia is actually when anesthesia time starts, not the prep talk. So anesthesia begins, that's a clarification, begins to prepare the patient for induction of anesthesia. My understanding of that is you're preparing the patient for anesthesia when you're asking them, do you have any loose teeth? You know, in case I have to trach you, I just want to make sure I avoid one side or the other if I have time. Those kind of things. You know, have you ever had anesthesia before? That just seems like you're prepping them for anesthesia. But CMS come back with a clarification that the prep before the game talk is not included in anesthesia time, and they just kind of lose that money for that little visit. It actually, the time begins when they start unwrapping syringes and anesthesia or adding the gas to the gas tanks or whatever, and the patient's there getting ready to be administered their anesthesia. And that's a big, long conversation for all that, but it ends when the anesthesiologist hands the patient over to recovery, post-op care. So that's super clear right there. It's just kind of a gray area where they say the anesthesiologist begins to prepare the patient for induction of anesthesia. You got to really define that prepare. And honestly, knowing about their verbally talking to them and seeing how they are, and if they've had anesthesia, because you're thinking in your brain, okay, they had anesthesia and they're really difficult to wake up, or they're combative when they wake up. Patients have really different reactions to anesthesia sometimes. And I see squirrels or whatever they might say. Based off their conversation, your brain's already thinking, okay, well, if they come out combative, I need to make sure they have in post-op care instructions to steer clear of the hands, make sure they're back just a little bit so they can avoid the swingings. I don't know what they do, but I'm just thinking that, there would be prep. You would think to plan out something for something like that, but they consider it more so when anesthesia begins as when they're really drawing up the meds and fixing to inject the patient and put them under. They ought to just say that instead of the way they've worded it to me, because as an auditor, I can audit everything. The wrist joint is distal to the elbow is one of the common things that was just found on the CPC exam. This gets kind of confusing. Also, the knee joint is proximal to the ankle joint. I've listed some extra things here, like your brachial artery lies medial to the bicep tendon, or your nose is medial to the ears. Some easy stuff and some hard stuff here, just to add to those that I know have been on it in the recent weeks, so that y'all have that information. A Category 2 code has popped up as 0102T for 25 minutes of electroshock high wave energy into your humerus bone again, your funny bone, and this will help alleviate pain or gain movement back, which is pretty cool. So be sure you know those. I'm going to skip down here because these are the ones we did live on, when was my last one? Monday? These are the ones we went over. They were so much fun. But I got some new stuff down here after I go over the eye stuff. And then we'll do a little bit of the icd10 real quick. I'll show you how I prep that book and get it prepared. And then we'll do the practice of elimination here. So this is a list of everything I shared last night in our chat group of each CPT code in lab and path. All I did was quickly paste my conversation in here, so you'll see you sent in between each new CPT code. So it was just a quick copy paste, but things like for 80047, it was just a basic panel. But FYI, notes that it checks for signs of kidney disease, certain cancers, and problems with the parathyroid. So the calcium level, if it is off, the one that's in that basic metabolic panel, the ionized, I believe it is, when it's off, then that means you have a parathyroid problem. So very cool, interesting little stuff. Blood tests that measures sugar levels, like electrolyte fluids, balance in the kidneys, is also in the 80047. If a provider performs and collects a specimen for the venous, they draw the blood in their office, they get to bill a 36415 separately. Our clinics have our own little lab, and all she does, she has a little closet that she draws blood in and prepares the specimens and sends them to LabCorp or other labs we contract with. Hold on, my children.
Mommy,
what?
So you know how when I was over there at Mama's apartment and you washed James's
blah
washes
blah
in
blah
the
blah.
washer? Can you do those for my black ones? Because I want to get rid of the red polka dots that I put on my black ones that you got really mad at me for, because people are now calling me a clown at school. And I don't like it.
Put clown tips on your shoes. I forgot about that. Oh, I didn't even think of that. You did, didn't you? I wonder if it'll come off.
It will. It's just paint. It's easy to come
It's
off.
just paint?
Yeah. Can I wash it in the washer?
No, you can't, but I can, okay? Let me do it. Just get your, did you take the shoelaces out?
The shoelaces they won't be damaged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to wash them today because those are the
I understand, son. I will wash them today. Just don't do it yourself. Good Lord. Oh, my Lord. Okay. He painted the tips of his tennis shoes, his brand new Converses, red. So it looks like he's got a red bubble at the end. I got mad at him because they're $60 shoes. Why are you painting your shoes? You just bought them. If you wanted them in a different color, then buy them in a different color. Don't get out the kitty paint out of the cabinet and decorate your shoes like that, because he also got it on the couch and the chairs and everything. But anyway, so now he wants it washed up because the kids are making fun of him because he has clown shoes. But, it didn't matter that it made me mad. No, he was going to wear it anyway. But when the other kids make fun of him, now it's an issue. He'll be 13 this week. Oh, my gosh. Let's see. 80053 is the measure of electrolytes levels to access functioning of patients' organ systems. Yep, he's being creative, my foot. Travis, Shell says hello. Every time, it's always something. Every minute of every day, there's always something that's going on, for sure. There is a blood test for cholesterol and triglycerides, of course. The blood test for your liver. Quantitative is how much. Qualitative is the presence or absence of. Be sure you know the differences in those. Can't express that enough. I gotta go check something. I'll be right back. Y'all can screenshot that. you doing, Chloe? There you go. Sorry about that. I'm back. Everybody's thinking it's all frozen, but it's just me that's frozen. I had to go. But I'm back. All right, CLIA. Be sure you understand what CLIA is and that it was established in 1988. And there's a modifier right here, QW, if you end up getting a CLIA waiver signed for your patients. Mostly Medicare patients require this. I believe that is the rule. And there are categories to CLIA. One of them is a wave test. One test is moderate complexity, and 3 is a high complexity of a test that you might be drawing. The patient could refuse to sign these. It means that they're going to be responsible for part of the bill. A lot of little things with that, but be sure you know at least this information for your CPC exam for sure. How does my tutoring work? So all you got to do is go to my little website, Medical Coding by Jen, right there. And let's see, my end, it looks something different, but when I get there, do I have a child standing behind me again? Oh my gosh. No, that's a cat this time. So right here you go to scheduling, and you go and it'll tell you what day, you can schedule. Settings right here, I've got appointment hours. So there's the dates and times if I can get my phone to focus on this. Travis, come here.
Yeah?
Come here.
What?
Don't what me. What's supposed to happen when I say come here? Boy. And you can schedule that on any of those days you want to, and then I will send you a Zoom link if you can't download Zoom and don't have it. Where are the shoes? Bring them here.
Waiting for you.
Okay, bring them here. If Zoom doesn't work for you, then we usually do it on Messenger chat. I don't need to see you, but I need to show you my CPT book and my exam questions. It's already all off.
No, you can still see the blue dots.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I hope it.
By today.
I know when you need them by, but I really wish you would take out your red laces because they will fade and not be as bright by the time I wash them. They're going to
turn white?
No, they're just going to be closer to pink by the time I wash them.
Okay, I like pink.
Okay. Good Lord. So you can turn your camera off on the Zoom or the Messenger app, and I'll show you just like what I'm doing right here. But it's more interactive where I can hear your voice and we can have a conversation instead of me reading chat. And then you can ask what you want to ask. If you're doing a course, I have people that I'm helping do their homework with. Or if you just want strictly what's on the CPC exam and then practice questions for the exam, we can go over about 3 sections per hour that we go through. But that's how that works. Let's see. Some of the cool ones that were neat as far as, let's see, we got treatment of seizures, treatment of drug or mental abuse, but there was 1 or 2 that I thought was really cool. This one right here, CPT code 89371, whatever the term is that there's in the CPT book. The AKA for that is bath salts. I didn't know that was for bath salts. So if you want to test somebody to see if they've been, whatever they're doing to bath salts, I don't know, are they inhaling it or injecting it? That would be awful. How bad would that be for your heart? Number 1. Anyway, you can test them for that. All right. So that was cool. Any of these little things are super helpful to have beside your CPT code so you know exactly what their meaning is in layman's term. 80375 includes gold, so that's kind of neat. But typically specimen is drawn or done before urine or blood, which is something also I didn't know. So that's cool. Love it, love it, love it. Just a few more things that I shared in chat about a certain CPT codes. Some of them are for bacterial infections. Some of them are for ventricular arrhythmia. Super cool information. Just all kinds of stuff they can get from your blood, urine, sputum, those kinds of things. So we have some practice CPC exam questions here we'll do in just a sec, but I want to show you quickly what I do to my icd10 book to prepare it for the exam. And, you know, I tried it like the other companies do that are online and show you how you're supposed to prepare for this exam. And I went through the guidelines and did like they did and highlighted what they highlighted, underlined what they underlined, and I just felt like that was a lot of work and that was a lot of time and that was maybe helpful a little bit, but there's no way to retain 33 pages of all this. If it's this, if it's that, if it's whatever you code, it just was a lot. It's a lot to remember, and there is not enough flashcards or time in the world to get me to memorize all of this. Eventually, throughout my career of coding, if I was a coder, and I am not a coder, by the way, I'm an auditor, I would learn these. Now, as an educator, now that I'm a guest speaker or educator for AAPC and some other companies out there, and I'm educating you guys, I'm learning them more and more and more. But my first love is always auditing, for sure. And I'm learning these more and more, but you need to get these to the codes. So, for example, you know they're going to be asking you about external causes, and there's 5 of those areas, and you need to be sure and code them in proper order. The cause go first, then intent, place, activity, and status. And it's hard to remember, and plus you don't get all of the details. You might get the place, but the activity, you know, he got hit in the head with playing baseball on the baseball field. But a lot of times you think to code the activity first because it's just so common, like he got hit in the head playing baseball. But that actually goes after the place. So you got to keep yourself straight. So what I did was I go to the index, but not to the regular index, in case you didn't know. And a lot of people that are in the course already do not know there's a separate index for external causes. It's not your alphabetical index. It is not. There is a separate index for external causes. There's no break. There's no tabs. You wouldn't know it was here unless you went to go find it. So there is an index for external causes. I wrote it right here: cause, intent, place, activity, and status. These right here are all part of your intent. Then I would go in the index. And so the pink right there is for your activity that you were doing. I just put a pink line down beside them so I kept it all straight. Those are all pinks. And then I went, and of course, for our status, since there's just like 5 codes for status, where are we at? Keep going. For status, I blocked those in green, like I had them booked right up here. And then there's more blue for our intent once we get to suicide. So they get split up sometimes, but they're all marked here with just a line through them. But the other thing that I did is, if you go back here to the actual codes, it's done here. 2 It's marked with the guideline never. First diagnosis, they're all marked here so that I have them. There's 2 areas that I did this back here in the chapter headers real quick for those sections. That way they're there with the codes. Same thing with like burns and stuff. You know, you need to burn the 3rd degree burns first and the 2nd degree burns next. So I did that here too in the more of the external causes. Because there's 2 chapters that are external causes. So I went to the header of both of them. So also if you go to burns, which can be in here too. I think there's some burns in here. But when you get to burns in the back of the code with the CPT or the ICD-10 code, I'll have at the top of the page, just like I have in the index, the alphabetical index for this one this time, it'll say you're going to code the 3rd degree burns first, and then you'll code the 2nd degree, and then the 1st degree are always coded last, unless it's corrosion burns, because corrosions go before burns, like battery acid and stuff. So if you have a 1 degree battery acid burn, that'll be coded before a fire burn that could be 3 degrees. So just saying that out loud, but write it however it makes sense to you. You don't have to do exactly what I did. If writing it a different way makes sense to you, then do it. But I wrote it in the index. But then if we go to, here we go, T30, somewhere around in there. If we go to those codes, I'll also have it back here with the actual codes. So wherever the burns start, I'll have it added to the actual header of all the burns so that I know what my guideline is. It could be sepsis, needs to be coded this way. It could be the Z51 in the back with chemotherapy. I know that that is coded first if they're there for being treated for chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or immunotherapy, that the Z51 code is coded first if that's what's being done that day is chemotherapy. And I'll have that guideline written back there with the codes. And you can see right here where I've got example 1115B. That means page number, example page number. So I took the top 10 list, and if you are in my Etsy shop, the 2022 ICD-10 guidelines at the very bottom has a top 11 guidelines that you need to know for your CPC exam. I also go over those in my lives. If you look at my YouTube page, I went over them in the last lives that I posted. But burns is one of my top 10 that you need to know your sequencing. So if you go to the ICD-10 page, and I go to my 1115, let's go 1115, which is just a couple of pages over, but I'm going to have a big example here, you see, written out. This is an example of a 3-year-old who pulls a pot of water down from the stove. He got 1st degree burns on his face, 2nd degree burns on both arms. He got face 3rd degree burns on the surface, blah, blah, blah. How you would code it. He ended up getting treatment, so he got 2 CPT codes with a modifier. Then I wrote out in order of sequence how it should be coded for the CPC exam, the exact diagnosis codes in order. But then I went to each one of the diagnosis codes and wrote just like that, unless it's the very first code in the sequence, that there's an example on 1115. And I kept my ink the same color, and I changed my ink colors for new examples. So if you do this for CKD and other things, especially if you have purchased the AAPC's practice exam questions, if you write every one of those exam questions, scenarios, a little bit about them, not the entire question, but a little scenario, and you write out the way they want the answer to be, and then you do this process like I did, you will have an entire 150 questions for reference to look at during the middle of your exam. Super helpful little process. I think this is more helpful than all the other crap I've got. I mean, I spent so much time updating and highlighting and doing all this crap to these guidelines, but you do not have time to reference these in the front of your book. Even if you print these lovely things out and bring them with you with your handwritten notes on them, you are not going to have time to reference them. You're not going to have time to go look at this index, find out where burns are, then go to your page where burns are at, and then figure out what your sequencing is or whatever else. And then read your paragraphs that go along with burn. You're not going to have time. There's no way. You will not. You will run out of time. You have 120 seconds per question. And that time starts when you're just trying to get into the question and answer book. If you're doing it in person, there's 2 little gluey sticker thingies that you have to break into that take time. Time's ticking. And if you don't bring a letter opener, you are wasting time trying to get into that thing. You need to know your pressure ulcer guidelines. If they're here in the front of the book, it doesn't do me any good. I need to go to those diagnosis codes and write that information right there where it's going to be, because the answers are provided for you during the CPC exam. You get your N18.9 for your CKDs. You get your O30 for your OBGYN. You're not going to be over here looking for 1C, 212B, 13, whatever guideline. You're not going to have time to reference these. You may have a lovely, beautiful crap like I do, but you're not going to have time. You need to move these codes. If it's telling you you're going to code G89 point whatever first, and then the underlining cause second, you need to go to that G code. You need to write the scenario down that they're describing right here in that paragraph next to that code, and then write number 2, you're going to code the underlining cause. But you need to go to the codes and move that there. You can't do every guideline, but you need to do your top 10 that I do go over, and I've done it multiple times. They're in my old lives. Your top 10 guidelines. You only have 10 diagnosis codes for the CPC exam. 90 of your questions are in the CPT book. That's where you need to really focus a lot of your attention, but you do need to have some scenarios down, like toxicity to things like mushrooms or whatever. But what if they have an allergic reaction to medicines that are given to the patient and they're taken correctly? Or what if they have a drug overdose? What if they're pregnant, have HIV, and have a fractured leg? What goes first? What goes first if they're anemic due to cancer, or if they're anemic due to the treatment of the cancer? So all differences. Those are some of my top 10s right there that you definitely need to know. But you need to move the guidelines and the examples to the actual codes. I hope that's helpful and doesn't seem too dismissive. When it comes to sequencing, yeah, it does. But a lot of times, especially the sequencing is already done for you in the exam, pretty much. Burn, you will get a question like that, so go look through your question, find out which body part is the deepest, and the burn, like 3rd degree or 2nd degree or 1st degree, if it's a 2nd degree, but that's the deepest one they're describing, then find the diagnosis code for that one. It'll be the answer with that diagnosis code listed first, and that'll be your answer. They'll mix them all up, like A will have 1st degree burn first, B will have 3rd degree burn first, or a percentage of body whatever was burned, and then your 2nd degree burn that you know is supposed to be first, ignore what I said just a second ago, will be C, and there'll only be that difference between all the answers. And then they'll have a ton of external causes, like they pulled the pot down on them. You'll see a bunch of W's and X's and whatever, but they're already in sequence the way you're supposed to. It's what they're going to mix up is the diagnosis codes, not the external causes. The external causes that they're going to mix up are going to be the activity versus the place. Make sure if they're at home when they issued it, then it's that Y, what is it, 99.0? I don't remember, but it's home first and then the activity. They were being an idiot at home, so whatever. The idiot goes afterwards. So be sure you know those differences. You're taking your CCS. So you're going to have 10 examples that you are going to have to code without technically an A, B, C, or D. They'll have a list of diagnoses or procedures that it could be, and you got to pick out and put in the right ones. Those 10 questions that you sort of have to code yourself based off the op note go straight to the top of the op note where it says procedure performed. It'll list out a name of a procedure, pre-op, post-op, diagnoses, code from that, and move on. You won't find a lot of stuff in the op note that is pertinent or going to change your mind of what they did based off the header that says the description of the procedure that they did. You might find at the very bottom, if there's all of our questions are rated the same for AAPC, CPC. So spending 10 minutes on one question doesn't make any sense when they're all coded the same, when a simple definition is the same as a big long op note. You need to manage your time wisely. So don't stress over your 10. If you've got your coding done pat, those 10, you're going to have some of it right, hopefully. Just my suggestion. We are going to do the process of elimination next. So if you want to follow along in your CPT book, I'm going to describe this. And I'm adding a new little thing to it tonight that is going to help y'all figure out what the answer is before you even have to look up any CPT codes or read the question at all. And I know it's blurry. I'm trying. Okay. So I'm adding a little part to this that is going to help y'all pick the answer without reading a question and without looking up the code description in the CPT book. So super cool, helpful. Let me check on my demons real quick and make sure they're okay and not tearing up my house. Travis. I see that. Somebody's going to eat them. There's 15 of them back there. Did you steal that out of my room? Bring me those headphones again. Stop stealing from me. If it's in my bedroom, that means what? What does it mean if they're in my bedroom?
No.
It means they're mine. If they're in my bedroom, it's mine. Good Lord, I'll turn my back a second. Okay, sorry. I just knocked over Baby Yoda. See Baby Yoda? Okay. Let me check up on chat. You're taking yours in May? Yay. I find that a lot. People take these very expensive classes, anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. They come out of their class overworked because they were given a ton of busy work. Somebody I'm helping right now just has pages and pages of worksheets of diagnosis codes for impractical situations that you would never code per chapter of things to look up. It's just monotonous and could be interpreted in many ways. And then they want you to, okay, well, don't code the diagnosis, only code the external causes. Okay, well, that's fine and dandy, but it could be so subjective. Oh my gosh. Do you code the war victim who was over in Iraq who got hit by an IED? Do you do the activity as the IED explosive, or do you do an act of terrorism with a bomb explosive? But see, they're over in another country. They're in somebody else's country. So terrorism is really our country's thing, right? Not just, you could spend hours wasting your time. You would never code that in real life. They are over at the VA doing their own thing over there, unless you work for the VA, and the VA has all their policies and procedures and contracts and special ways that they're going to code things that you will be taught on the job. You will never have to code that on your own of any sort, kind of way at all. There was just no way. I mean, it's good to know that it's there, but good gracious. They're not helping you pass your CPC exam or your CCS exam. And they're not giving you a career's worth of learning for a career. They are stressing you out, is what I think they're doing for the money. Anyway, I think you can self-learn to pass the CPC without a course. Just get the study guide, which is super helpful. Everything in that book is on the exam. And learn the practice of elimination, prep your CPT book, and you will be golden for this exam. My previous lives, I know sepsis is easy though, Miss Michelle. I have a 1-page sheet that has drawn out all examples of sepsis, and so you can take it to each code in sepsis and write those scenarios down, because some sepsis is organ dysfunction, some of it is organ failure, and some of it is without any organ issues. And you code it 4 different ways depending on the scenario. Well, I have all that written down on one little sheet of paper for you, and you can move that to another thing. Yeah. So neoplasms, it's not so bad. Either it's cancer or it's not. So you stay out of the cancer in integumentary, unless you have a positive diagnosis for that. And literally everything on the CPC exam is coded for you. All you have to do is match word search. Like if it's if the cancer is in the cerebellum, or if it's in the ankle, I mean, you just got to find the body part. It's not like you've got to go find the neoplasm in an index or anything. You will never reference that index during your exam, so it's not that bad once you get there. Sometimes I forget to look at the guidelines and the code was wrong. I am very brand new at this. What page is that? Sorry if I'm missing you in chat. I am very sorry. I love it too. Are you CPMA certified too? I am, and I do HEDIS audits. I am the winner of the Bassinger Award twice out of California. I beat out people like Kaiser Permanente that have teams of auditors working for them. So yeah, I've been doing auditing for a long, long time. Love it, love it, love it. Sepsis is not bad. I got a 1-sheeter for that. YouTube, so look for me at Coding by Jen, Jen. You have your final on Monday, and I'm not doing so well in the class. I'm sorry. It's really hard and frustrating. Yep, I know. It is. You take your CPC on 12/11. Don't worry about too much about it. Like I said, you've got 10 questions for diagnosis. Come on, stop. Sit down and be still, please, Trouty. Please. Where are you running off to? You can sit right here. And you ain't writing anything in there other than nice stuff. Well, you're not taking it to school either. You are not taking them to school. Okay? Huh? It's just for here.
The shoes need to be.
Well, I'm not doing anything until I know that you're going to be good, Travis. And don't rip out paper. Why?
It's not, it doesn't
But then I'll have to pick it up later and throw it away.
I'm going to throw it away.
Good Lord. One of my children is just a handful. My other one is a lazy log. Will not move. The other one is climbing the walls ever since he was able to walk. And he started running at 9 months old. Whew. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to do the process of elimination for your CPC exams. This will also help you for your CCS exams, promise. What you need to do is look at these numerically. Do not look at them like they're CPT codes and you have to code anything. Also, you are not going to read your question that goes along with it. You're going to go straight to the answers first. So looking at them numerically, we've got all 4 are the same code. So all we need to do is look at the modifiers and see what our differences are. So on the front cover of your CPC book, you have a nice little reference page with all the little modifiers that are normally picked. Not all of them. A complete list of all your modifiers are on and in your HipPix book on the front covers, inside the covers, back cover, and inside the cover. There are probably 100 different modifiers, but right now we'll just look at the modifier 76. I'm still not looking at the question. 76 says repeat procedure. I'm going to look at 78 because I can remember 2 at a time, and one of them is unplanned. Return to the OR. 58, if I can remember it, is staged. But I try to do just 2 at a time, but sometimes I can remember them all. Just depends. So 78 is unplanned. I'm trying to remember them. 76 is repeat, unplanned, staged. So I'm only going to be looking at my question and looking for AKA or those particular terms right there. That's all. And I'm looking from the last word backwards. I'm not reading from the first word done all the way down, I mean. So it looks like he was in the ER yesterday for a revision, right? And his graft is failing. Does that sound like it's a planned repeat? I got to look at these again because I can't remember them. I always forget. My brain, I get to talking and I forget. So that does not sound like it's a repeat. Just because a procedure fails doesn't mean it's repeated anything, right? It also doesn't seem like that is a 58, which is staged. We didn't plan to go back in there and redo this procedure. He's having his whole graft fail on you. So that is definitely unplanned. So we're going to keep our C and move on to our next test question. That's all we needed to know. We didn't need to know that he's 51 years old. We didn't need to know that he has renal disease. And we didn't need to know any of this crap down here at the bottom. So brain fatigue can really take a toll on you too. And as you're going through this exam, once you get to question 100, you're done. Your brain is toast, especially if you've tried to read all those questions. And if you've read all those questions, time is up. You've got 30 minutes left and you've got 40 questions left. I can't tell you how many people have been in that exact same scenario and just had to bubble in the last 40 questions. You don't want to be there, so you want to do it like this. You can bank time if you move through these questions quicker than normal by not reading. Don't read. So we're going to go right here. So which two are we keeping and which two are we getting rid of? So for the new ones that are here, this means I am just looking at the numbers numerically. Which two sets, if I can get it down to two, have such similar numbers numerically that I know they have to be one of them is the correct answer, because AAPC has a pattern of giving you two codes that you will throw away because their numbers don't look like the other numbers. We got a 377 and a 366. I would get rid of those because we have a 376 and a 376. One of them's 05 and one of them's 09. These are the ones that I would run to right away. I'm eliminating those two, and I'm just going to see what the difference is between those two codes before I move on and look at my answer question, is what I mean by that. So 37605 is, I don't know what, and I'm slow at finding codes, so y'all have to bear with me. When you're in your exam, whether it's a HEMA or CPC, train your eyes to look up here instead of going through each column looking for your codes. Look up here, because that will give you a bigger range and you can move through them faster. 37605. Nope. 37. Keep going. 37605. Be sure and take a big fat pencil with you when you go if you are in person, because if you take mechanical pencils, something like that, it takes you longer to bubble in the answers. Take you a fat kindergartner one or something so that you can just bubble in faster. 37605 is down here. I'm so low. I don't know why I'm so low. Here we go. 37605 and 09. So 05 is under ligation. And then 09 is also, but it's also about a biopsy, but the two differences in these codes is which artery. This one is carotid. The other one is temporal. Temporal artery. That's our one word difference. And when I tell you about other companies that tell us what to highlight or to box, it's crap. It doesn't help you. What helped for this particular question was to know that this is carotid, CAROTID, because I did my books just like I was told to by other companies, and this is unhelpful. I still ended up having to go through here and evaluate all of this to see what the difference is. So what I did was I went word for word, ligation, external, looked for the one thing that was different, and that happens to be temporal over here. I'm going to write TEMP right underneath the 37609. Temp and carotid. So that those are the two differences. I don't care that I'm ligating, because they're both ligating, right? And I don't care that they're both anything else. The difference is the temporal and the carotid, because no matter whether it's a biopsy, ligation, it doesn't matter if I'm not in the right artery. That's the one difference. I can't do a ligation on the other code if I'm not under carotid, with it. So that's the one difference that will change your answer. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So I'm going to search my question just for temporal or artery. And I know that will usually end up being in the front of the question, because when they start describing what they're doing is usually at the top. And I see right here, right temporal pain. So I know they're going to be doing temporal, which gives me the answer of 9. And I'm done. And I'm going to move on to my next test question. If I can get my mouse to go again. Come on. Here we go. So, A, correct code. I got 34 messages. Oh, Lord, what did I miss? What did I miss? Let me let y'all look at my notes. My crappy notes from other people, but I've added the clinical examples of everything that was in a COC course, a CPC course, a CIC course, and a CPB course into my notes. For 2022, I'm going to make better notes for each individual code to say what it should say. Also, my notes have pink highlights for codes that were on my CPC exam or somebody that I mentored. But just the notes that were paid for, they could do better. Especially 10 years doing this stuff. They could definitely do better. And I will be doing better for you for 2022 for sure. And I already have the icd10 done, and I have the E&M section for 2022 done. I'm doing anesthesia right now, and then I'll do lab and path, and I'll get that one posted because it's gonna be most beneficial for sure. And then we're doing musculoskeletal and then cardiology. Problem two. Oh my God, that's a lot to do. Just add what can. So can I bring? There hasn't been any difference between the 2021 and the 2022 so far. The guidelines in icd10, the only difference was we added some codes, of course, for guidelines for COVID, and then we've added some guidelines for situational issues, like if they're homelessness or if they have food insecurities. We have new guidelines for those. And they're at the end of the guidelines, so they're the same guidelines we've had since 1999 or 95, so they haven't changed much. Class was 5K. Oh my gosh. I've only met one person who said that their course helped them with their CPC exam. Out of everybody I've ever mentored or talked to, $5,000. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know it's not helping. I swear I know it's not helping. I've looked at the courses. I've audited those courses. And if I relied on that course, the COC, the CPB, or the CIC to pass their certification exam, I would be lost too. There's no way you can pass the course or pass the certification exam just based off that. It's terrible. You can't do that index. Yeah, chapter 20 is like insane. I hate that. That's just terrible. It's on the exam. It's just already coded for you. You just need to know the placement. It's not that big of a deal. They make it out to be something huge in that Chapter 20, they may give you so much busy work that you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it. There's a way easier way to explain that for sure. It's terrible. I am going to go watch your videos over the weekend. Good. I hope they really do help. I really do. Unfortunately, I don't have a video editor yet. I'm in talks with one, and they have to get some stuff set up first to have room for me. But they're going to go through my lives and start editing, categorizing them so that you know what's in each one, instead of me posting 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes of me going from subject to subject. They'll be able to split them up and give them headers and tell you exactly what's in each one, and then bundle, like, this is all cardiology, this is all E&M, but it's not going to happen yet. So unfortunately, they're just posted. If I remember, because I have to wait till the next day, what did I go over, and I can get it in the header. The header is where I put process of elimination, cardiology, or if I did E&M, or if I did lab and path. I try to add some stuff in there now, but they missed an entire month of me and my lives for the month of November. So from November 15th till December the 11th or longer, they didn't record anything. And I was doing them 4 times a week, 2 hour long each at least. So there's quite a bit that got missed. But no, just start anywhere and start listening. I'm sorry, I don't know which ones are which. Y'all were helping me out with B and A and B, A and B, yay. I can't see the pages as usual, I know. Temporal, yay. Okay, thanks Lily for helping out. Who has time to do all that? I know, it's crazy. COVID, yep. I finally caught a live, yay. Miss Paris, yeah, she's in our chat now. She is. I'm glad it was helpful. Awesome. The live about lab and path. I've added some new information about lab and path tonight too. What time is your live until? I try to do till 8:30, so that'll be 25 more minutes. Some courses are 7 weeks, my friends. This course, not sure you're going to learn coding in 7 weeks. And I know. And then they're like busy work. It's just busy work. I could teach you something in 7 weeks. You spend 7 weeks with me on TikTok. You watch my TikToks. You watch my lives. And you come hang out with us in my little chat room every day. 7 weeks free. This is free. All of that is free. I can have you pass that CPC exam. Everybody that's been with me for 2 months has. I don't have anybody that hasn't. I can do that for free. $2,500 7-week course on crap. It's just blatantly taking people for their money and then recycling old, antiquated ways of coding that isn't even trying to have you do it as what they do in the real world now anyway. It's unhelpful. Plus, it doesn't help you pass this exam because you have to do it within, a regular doctor's office will have you code 10 charts, 8 to 10 charts an hour, okay? The CPC exam is 30 an hour. There's just you can't do it that way. There is no time. It's 100 seconds. And then you still have to get to the codes. And then you still have to evaluate the code description, find the differences, and then answer your question appropriately. You have to do 30 an hour. If you're in person, there's 5 columns of bubbles, and there's 30 questions in each column. So if you do 1 column an hour, by the way, you will be right on track to give you about enough room at the end of the exam to do 1 bathroom break and have 20 minutes left over for looking up things that you don't understand or can't find the answer. But the box and highlight and stuff, we're going to end up for next year, we're going to write 1 keyword up underneath each code to tell you what the difference is, because we've got ligation. We've got PP, Vain, vain. None of this is helpful. Why did I underline this? Why? None of it's helpful. SF. If it was between this code and this code, nothing so far has helped me. Nothing, right? So one of them is radial and one of them is open. So, and Littman type, if this was on the CPC exam, they would make note of that AKA word. They would say it was a Littman graft, definitely. So I would put Littman and open right here. Right here, we've got include ultrasound guidance right here. That would be my difference. But what I've done before, based off of what other people have told me to do, and I paid for the information, a whole year's worth of cave stuff, is unhelpful. That's because I still have to come to these codes and I still have to spend time going, what's my difference? None of this helped me at all. I need to fix these. So I'm working on it. I just started making TikToks about my frustration about all this, and then this kind of all blew up into something I wasn't totally prepared for, but I'm happy to help you guys. And I'm tired of seeing people spend all this money and truly suffer to pass this exam. I think there's somebody in our chat room who's done it 11 times, the CPC exam. Bless her heart. It's just always having to do so much. But if she'd have known how to prepare for the exam and practice like I'm going to teach you how to do, then she would have been way better prepared for this exam and would not have had to fail it 11 times. I promise I would have not let her do that. We would have gotten her to pass well before now. But I'm so glad she's in there now, and we're going to get her to pass for sure. For AAPC, you get one free try. So if you pay for it, you get one free try. So unless you buy an unlimited, every once in a while in a blue moon, they might sell a package where you have unlimited tries. It's like some unicorn thing. I've never seen it, but some people have had unlimited tries, but nobody I know. With AHIMA, AHIMA, you have to pay to retest every time. But you get to bring a medical dictionary with you. How helpful is that? We don't get to do that anymore. Such a pain. To take the CPC exam is $399. Plus you have to have a membership, which is $180. And AHIMA is the same. Courses are $3,000 if you want a course to go along with it. Our dictionary has to be in our heads. Yep, no. Shawnee, it's got to be in your book. Remember, no memorization, no flashcards. Don't remember nothing. Except for a few little things I kind of want you to know, like what is in the R codes. If you're diagnosing something, an R code is a symptom. We don't code those first, so that helps you out in sequencing when you're looking through answers and trying to pick out the right answer. If an R code is the first and answer A, B, C, or D, just exclude it. Don't eat it because that's going to be wrong. Pick something else. And then Medicare is a G code. We need to know that. It's just a few tiny little things that I want you to memorize to help you out, but the rest of it, have it all in your books for sure. Good job. It is symptoms. All right. Process of elimination. Let's work on this one. So for this one, for process of elimination, I of course love that we have 0, 0, and 05. I'm assuming it's going to need radiology because we got so many that need radiology. The other thing that I like, so for process of elimination, I like, because these have the same and they're so close, I would eliminate D and I would eliminate A because it doesn't have any radiology. But when I go look up the differences between these two codes, if it says it includes radiology, then I know A is my answer. But another trick I'm going to tell you about today is, you see in D, and I know D is my throwaway. It's a clear giveaway throwaway. Even if you don't throw away A, you know you're going to throw away D because it's 38525. Numerically, it's 20 codes away from the 00 and the 05. But what it does have is this 76942 in it that is in one of my answers that I know I'm going to keep. Because of that, I think C is my answer, and I could move on to my next question without looking up a CPT code, without looking at my question. If you're brave enough, I see this pattern with AAPC, and this is their question, word for word, in their scenarios some of the times. So I'll show you the difference, though. Let's go to 38500. Let's go to that. I'm not saying it's all 100%, but I'm telling you it's a really good indicator. And if you are down to the wire and you have no time left and you need to start bubbling some crap just to finish the exam, then this is a really great one. I would have kept A. I'm keeping A, B, and C on this one. A was a different code originally on the AAPC question. Actually, I changed it to just the code that was behind it. So that's probably my fault for leading y'all towards A. I should have left it the other code. It was like a 1550 something code. It was clearly a different code. But I was trying not to make too many dead giveaways. I like to make them all super close. But the 38500, where am I at? 385. I get to talking so much. 385. A kid made poppers out of paper, and he's in there shaking that paper, making it pop. 385. 385. Yeah, I'm really slow at finding codes. 38500. That's horrible. Horrible at finding codes. So we've got 00 and 05. So they both were on my CPC exam too, by the way. And of course I highlighted it and boxed it like other companies told me to do. One of them is open, superficial. The other one is by needle. So what I'm going to do is just search my question for if they used a procedure or if they used a guided needle for part of this procedure. Come on. Come on. It really hates to go from book, pictures, to, and what, I got plenty of battery. Why? Sometimes when I get low battery, it doesn't like to focus. Come on, there you go. You'll see the word needle in there and needle again. I did this question the other day. Sorry to pick a repeat, but also, if you look in this scenario, you will see up here in this little descriptor paragraph before you code these, it'll tell you also if imaging guidance is used to use your 77 codes. And we did use, oh, come on. Come on. That's why we used the needle, is because we used the guidance. It really hates to do this. One of these days I'll get me a professional setup here. And I do have the teacher's camera thing. I did purchase that, but I can't figure out how to use it yet because the teacher's camera that's supposed to make this look all great and wonderful does it in mirror image. So then my right is my left and my left is my right. My up and down are switched, and I can't teach that way. I need to be able to, I don't know. They need to come up with some technology that does not make it in mirror image. This is using a guidance. We are using our imaging guidance needle, and our only one with the needle in it is C. But see how part of the answer is in one of our throwaways? So if I was guessing, that's what I mean by C would have been the answer. Here's another one. Let's try this one. Sorry about my shaky hand. Just trying to get it to focus better. So this one, y'all can clearly see which two we're keeping, which two we're getting rid of. We're going to get rid of B. We're going to get rid of C. I didn't change any numbers in this one. We're going to keep these because they have the same one, right? The same answer. We just need to know if we need to use a modifier or if we add that code and if we can times 2 it. How can we figure out if we times 2 a number? We can times 2 it if it has the plus symbol in front of it, right? If it doesn't have the plus symbol in front of it, we use a modifier, usually, if we need to do something. Good job, Russia. Glass. Yep. Or the word each. Perfect. That's even better if it has the word each. E-A-C-H. Boy, writing with a mouse is a lot different, for sure. So let's go look at 63045 and see what we can do with that one. So 63. Whoop, too far. Look at your tops. Oh, Dad must be home. I hear the trash tinkling. He takes out the trash after he's done dealt with them angry ladies at the store all day. They get so angry. Let's see. And he's so sweet. Wouldn't. Let's see. 63045. 63045. 45. 45. We're down here in the middle of this nightmare. So 45. And what I wrote in here is so unhelpful. Really is. We're doing 4-5 and 4-8. 4-8 is a plus sign, so we definitely would do a times 2 on this. And yeah, I heard it was you. Was that you changing the trash? I could hear you coming in the door. Oh, did he? He must have heard you come in the door and went and done the trash so quick. So because it has a times 2, we would definitely use the times 2 on that one because it would say each. Plus, if we do go up to our question, how many C's are we doing? 1, 2, 3. So the only one that would equal up to 3, 1, 2. Even if we did the bilateral or 2, that would equal up to 4. This is just 1, 2, 3. So that equals up to 3 anyway. But love it. D is our answer for sure. Yep. D is our answer. You can get... Ooh, I got an E and M here. So what happens when you need to add codes to your regular E and M's? Some things need to be in perfect place. There's only one code that would be there if it was prolonged services, and it ends in 17, I think. So it would definitely not be one of those. If it was an ER visit or a physical, I think those are the 8s, or the 9s is the second code right here. So it's very unusual that you'd have an office visit with some of these codes. So I don't think any one of those is probably the answer, because I don't see something that would go normally with a regular E&M. Plus, if you're going to add something to a regular E&M, you're going to use a modifier, right? That modifier is, so I think it's 25, 21, something like that. I don't think, just looking at these don't make any sense to me. It's going to be either D or A. So the 13 and the 15. So what I would be looking for is MDM or time. MDM or time. So I'm going to look up here and see what our time was. So the physician documented 40 minutes with the patient. Doesn't matter about that because of the time. The wording of the time means it's included in here. It doesn't mean you add on to it. So which E&M is 40 minutes long? Which one? That's got to be the 5, right? Got to be the 5. So yeah, my notes from here are kind of crazy. But they got rid of your examination and the history. They just put appropriate in there now, and I can't live with that. I have to know what it used to say. So in my notes, I have what it used to say, which was comprehensive history, comprehensive exam, and high MDM. So high MDM, which they still have in here, but then they have this crap appropriate history and examination. I went back and found all that old information. And then this is a 40 minutes, so I know it is going to be my 15. Some other things. This is what I was talking about. The only prolonged code that will ever go with any E&M from the 15 down, like the 214, 213, whatever, will only be that 17 code. None of the rest of them will be. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Memorize that. And then the other things that will go with a regular E&M are these risk assessments. But if you're going to do one of these, you see how the second to the last code is 9, and then on the other page they're all 8s. So you can memorize that. If they do go with this, you add that modifier 25. So this would happen only if they're getting a well child or a well adult or a well senior, whatever, doesn't matter, just as long as they got commercial insurance, no Medicare. No Medicare. But if they're just getting a wellness exam of any sort, they can get this, but then they can also get a regular E&M like a 99213 or 214, 215 only if you add the modifier. An example of that would be they came in for a wellness exam, but then they slammed their hand in the car door on the way into the door to the office. So they need to get their fingers looked at, and they're still here for their wellness exam. You would still do another evaluation of that hand with a regular E&M, a 99212 or a 213, depending on how bad it is, if you need to do some steri strips or buddy tape it to the next one. But then you would also do the physical code. Just saying. But it's always going to have a modifier with it. So anyway, hopefully that helps you out with a little bit with the E&M. These 3, 5, 8s, I don't know if they're ERs or observation or consults. It doesn't matter. Or counseling codes. They wouldn't go with the regular E&Ms, especially without a modifier. So, yeah, got to have your modifier if it's going to go with the regular E&M. So it already looked bad to me. So when you're doing your process of elimination and you're looking at the codes numerically, you need to look at the codes also. Do they make sense? Do they even make sense at all? You can get rid and get down to 50-50 answer pretty quickly within seconds to decide which 2 codes it really will be, because they're going to give you crap that's going to be way out there that's not going to be correct for sure. All right, so the answer was A for sure. And we'll go to this one right here. Our next one. You didn't have to close. Just stayed mighty long. Good gracious. It's home late for not having to close the store. Very good, Libra. No need to use 50 bilateral. Good. Perfect. All right. This next one. Codes are all over the place. Nothing's really close together other than we've got a 19 and a 19. That leads me to believe that the answer is probably going to be 19 just because it's the only thing that's repeated. And I wouldn't use one E&M without another E&M because they ain't got no modifier, right? So if you just think about things logically and look at what they're showing you, you can do this. You can do this CPC exam in the time frame that they're giving you if you're not coding. If you are reading these questions, this is a patient who's 56 years old who went to the ER and blah, blah, blah. It's full of propaganda. Psychologically, they have people that look at these questions that know how you're going to react. They know how you're going to react to the words that they're saying in there. ER, ER, ER. And you're going to think it's an ER visit when it's actually observation or some kind of weird thing. I'm just telling you, don't read the questions. It's full of propaganda. 99219, what is that? I think I'll look that up real quick before I look at the question. 99219, what is it? What is it? It is observation. Looky there. So, reasons why for the CPC exam that they're going to use observation will be ER, ER, ER. You will see ER throughout the question. When you are trying to pick the right answer for some of these questions, ignore that exists. Bypass anything that says ER in your exam process thinking, because 90% of the time the only reason it's there is to confuse you and make you bill for an ER visit instead of in-hospital patient care or observation. So another way is if they are wheezing, having an asthma attack. It's usually an observation, and they have it really sneakily worded in there, subtly, that you won't even notice because your keywords are ER, ER, ER. Just anytime you see wheezing or asthma, look for subtleties that the patient is there in the ER. Yes, they're being treated. And they have been treated. They just can't leave yet because they're under observation to make sure that their asthma attack is not coming back. So we're going to just skim this from the last word up. And look, asthma. I do see asthma. And I order additional treatments. Observation is right there, observation care. So it is the 19. I also want to see, let's see, he's been wheezing. So anytime you see any keywords like that, wheezing, rapid heart rate, these are all things that we should write down in our book under observation. Yeah, I've got my comp, moderate, but other things I should have here is wheezing, increased heart rate, because they reuse that question over and over again. Asthma. Those are key words you need to look for. And it's usually always observation. You don't keep like a chemotherapy patient or a fractured patient in observation. You don't keep somebody that got hit in the head with a baseball bat at a bar fight under observation. You can keep them inpatient overnight, but you don't usually keep those kind of patients in observation. It's usually your asthma attacks, your bee stings, something you've treated with some steroids, and you just need to make sure that they don't flare up again, that kind of stuff. So super important right there. I hope that's helpful. let's see. Did I help? Again, it's okay. I bring what? Is it okay that I bring what? Bring what? What are we asking for? You cannot bring a medical dictionary to the AAPC CPC exam anymore. You used to be able to, but you can't bring that to there. Yeah, unfortunately. Great. I'm glad that's super helpful. All right. So B is our answer. Let's move on to our next one. Ooh, looks like we got radiology, and I know a ton of y'all are asking about this 26 and technical components and blah, 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 blah. 90% of the time, your technical component or whatever is included in the procedure. If I was just looking at this, I know 46 and 46 are my two keepers, right? It's rare that the CPC exam is going to let you code for technical component. I've not seen it. Not that this isn't on the exam and the exam isn't littered with this mess, but they want to know that you are not going to overcode stuff more than anything else I've seen. They're going to want to make sure that you aren't going to give away money or overcode more so than anything. If I was a betting woman, I would bet that C is the answer. Don't do any technical components, especially when they got it all laid out here for you like that, and one doesn't. This makes me think C is the answer. 71046. Let's go look. So the other thing is when you're told by other companies or groups of whatever out there buying information, they're telling you to underline certain things or to write all this mess in here. And none of that's helpful, by the way. What is helpful is this is cervical. And I need to move that underneath here. And that this will be vertebral. What I've marked because of their suggestions is it's okay, but we can do better. Anyway, my 71047, knowing a lot of time more than what is in the descriptor is more helpful than anything. And unfortunately, the only way you can find that information is to have more books. So the AMA releases a book every year called The Insider View. They'll pick a few CPT codes that they're getting back from CMS that say that a patient or these codes are being billed wrong. Y'all need to go over them. So then they give you the true description of the CPT code. Look at that. Compared to the CPT book, where they give you 2 sentences or 2 words or 1 word, they're giving you paragraphs of descriptions with clinical examples. These books are super helpful, but you'd have to get them for the last 20 years. Because if you see right here, the Insider View from 2001, that's from 2020. It will not list that CPT code in there. I'd have to go find that book to find it, the true description. So having a library of these is helpful too. Or knowing somebody that knows them and has them and puts that information here for you to be decipherable is helpful. What can you take into the test for coding? Your name, your ID, your membership number, your 3 books for your exam, your CPT book, your HipPix book, your icd10 book, your water bottle, a letter opener. Just don't stab your neighbor with it. Use it to get into the book. Because it's sticker closed and the stickers are difficult. A fat number 2 pencil. I'm telling you, go get the kindergartner first grade, big Mama Jama pencil. Don't be using no mechanical, sharp, precise pencils. Don't sharpen your pencil all the way to a tippy end. Get you a fat kindergartner one so you can bubble those circles really quick. You're not spending all 3 hours there bubbling for a long time. A ruler if you want to keep like your bubbles in order. And a non-crinkly snack like grapes or something. But you ain't got time to eat. You're going to be finding codes really quick. But that's it. And all that list and all that kind of information is available on the AAPC website. They have a whole list of do's and do nots. They also have a Facebook group page that can help you with more information like that. When you get down to being ready to take your CPC exam, come join my messenger group, and we will be ready to help you out for the last 2 months of your time, making sure your books are prepped properly, practice the process of elimination, and show you what's been on the CPC exam the last 45 days or so, because I'm collecting that information and keeping it up to date with what's on there so that you know exactly what to walk into. 71046. Oh my gosh. 714. Oh my gosh, my kids are out there yelling at each other. Hold on. My kids. I can't take it. Y'all get to come with me.
He's not.
Seriously. Get him, John. Get him. My older kid took care of it. So that was great. Got a Takana after him. 7. I can't even find it. 10. I'm in the wrong codes. 710. Where are they? 710. Here we go. 46 and 47, right? Okay, so they're x-rays. One's 2 views, one 3 views. And why are we looking for modifiers? Because we're looking for technical component. So, to find out whether these radiology, have you ever seen a radiology report from a doctor not give you their interpretation? Why would you pay them extra modifier if you're in radiology? Why are you paying them to do a radiology test and expect no interpretation? If this was an office visit for a physician who was doing one of these, you would have the office visit, you would have the radiology, and you could get the technical component because he has the machine in his office. But this is only just the procedure, just the radiology. He has to put an interpretation down. He has to. They're just, it's included. You will find that information in this informational paragraphs right before you code this. There are some guidelines here in these green pages, and it'll specifically tell you that information. But if they're just billing this, then they're in an outpatient center and they're doing it, and they need an interpretation, and it's included in there. So C is definitely your answer. Most definitely. Anytime you see just the radiology and no E&M visit, they're definitely going to get their E&M visit if they're going to lay their hands on the patient and then do a treadmill test or something like that. At least in my experience in the CPC questions that I've seen. Sorry about the shaking in the moving camera. It's crazy right now. Thank you for sharing the live, Michelle. I had a Michelle pass her exam last week. She had 5 of my notes from the Etsy store, and she had not passed it before, got the notes, and passed it. and she had the 2 L's in her name. So she just let me know yesterday, guys, I think it was, that she passed. She did great. She did perfect, for sure. Ooh, 3,000 words. That's cool. All right, here's another exam question. So, for this one, we'll definitely get rid of A because 55920, right, is different and not as close numerically as the 75 and the 76, right? We can get rid of the 62 because it's not close either. I would pick the 2 that are the closest. Now, in evaluating what I removed, right, do you see anything here? I removed A, and it has the 76965 in it, which is in one of my keepers. So I'm already leaning D is my answer. I could move on to the next question. But if you're not brave enough to do that, then at least I've gotten you down to 50-50, right? You can go look up these 2 codes, see what the difference is, hunt for the key term in your question, and then eventually get back down here and pick D as your correct answer, because this has the same code in it as your throwaway. Right there. All right. 55875 is what? Five 55875 right here. And then the other one was 76, which was right up underneath here, which is also one of my ones that was on my CPC exam. They both have lots of parentheticals about it. The 76 has markers and seeds in it. That's one of my AKAs that is different than the other one. The other one is just a placement of a needle, for a catheter. And then this one is placement of seeds. So if we wanted to go up here and look at our test question, and we see the word seeds. So let's see, are they both seeds? Without cryotherapy. The 6-5. So we're doing prostate cancer, ultrasound, given components. Our answer is D. Why am I picking 7-5 then? So our seeds is in the second CPT code. This one is needle catheterization into the prostate for whatever this word is, radiant application. The radiant application is the seeds, but that's going to be in our second CPT code, that 76965. The application of the catheter is what we're coding first, which is the 7-5. If we go to our 769, which is our radiotherapy, our radiology, you'll see the seeds in that one. The other one is the wrong one. 769. 769. 769. 769. 65. Nope, down here. 65. That's the ultrasound guidance for the radiographic thing. 55875. That's for the ultrasound. Right here is the placement of the radiographic Then the other one is for the ultrasound. This one's without cystoscope. Any approach. Fistulometers. That's still the eye device, but this is without a cystoscope. Transperitoneal, and this is placement. We are doing a transperitoneal placement of needles and catheters with ultrasound. And we have ultrasound performed. The other two will not. The 76942 won't be ultrasound. But have to do a lot of work to make sure and decide whether the answer is right or not, when I could have just picked it based off the hints that they're giving me, because D is our answer. And if you get lost in the question and lost in your descriptors and lost in your codes, you're going to be spending more than your 2 minutes, like I can, auditing back and forth to see if you have the right answer, when I could have gone with what they were clearly telling me. This answer is in 2. It's the only identifiable same code in one of my throwaways to lead me to the right answer. But yet you could spend a half an hour clearly auditing to verify and still be unsure. But if you've got a clear example of one code is in your throwaway, pick it. There's your answer. Move on to the next question for sure. It's just one of those patterns they often always have. For sure. Our next one is a lab, I think. So we've got a whole gamut of 7. These 2 are close, for sure. I'd definitely get rid of C. And then the 5 one isn't too far off. Let's go see. 82946. 82946. Boop-a-doop doop. 82946. 829. 82946 is under glucose tolerance test. Ooh, I know what I'm doing now. So, any glucose tolerance test, right, will more than likely, for the CPC exam, not have one code. Just blatantly will not have one. Glucagon is a hormone. It's not a glucose tolerance test. So, number 1, there will be a definite difference in the way it's described in the exam. It'll say glucose if they mean glucose. They'll say glucagon if they mean glucagon, and there's only one code for that one. Glucose tolerance test has lots of different specimens. Most picked on is this last code down here at the bottom for your pregnancy patients. I write examples in the bottom of my CPT book, at least 2 per page, of how to code certain things on the exam. What? Baby, you can't bring me that in the middle of my life. No fortune telling. No fortune telling. I'm not picking one. Go tell Dad to pick one. No. I know I'm no freaking fun. Thank you. Don't. Bring here. Out. 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 Oh my goodness. Sassy Gran go live together. Oh, I love Sassy Gran. And her grandson, I've been to some movie premieres where he's been at and stuff, so it's kind of interesting. But I don't know why I'm getting this TikTok thing that says go live with them together. I don't know why that is. I'm like getting all distracted here. 4, 6, 4, 7, and 5, 1. So we're going to look at our test question, and we're going to see how many specimens we need. How many specimens do we need altogether? So 5 blood specimens. That's the only thing I need to know here. So what codes will equal 5? It's not 1 code times 5 because the 1 code is 1 test. Times 5 would equal 6. It won't be the 1 code by itself. There is no glucose test that is 5 tests. There's one that is 3 specimens. And that is the 5-1, and then the 5-2, which is over here on the second page, which you get to forgetting about, is over here in It's Your Each. So the one right here that says here, that's your 3, and then if you're going to add times 2, 5 plus 2, 3 plus 2 is 5. So yeah, there we go. I can't do math, but if you have 5 specimens, just absolutely the only way you can get 5 specimens. This one equals 6 for sure. This one's just 1, right? This one's 3, and this is 2 specimens. So if you can add, you know this was the only one that can be 5 for the glucose tolerance test. When you see these, all you need to do is look for your key term of how many specimens you have. The rest of the question is propaganda. Don't look at it. Just find out how many specimens you have and go find the right codes, combinations that will equal 5. Thankful I have a job that once I get certified. I hope so. That's awesome, Michelle. That's great. A lot of people do struggle trying to find a job, but I got some ideas for that too. Check with the health plans. Right now, every October through March of every year, they're looking for HEDIS people, and you take CPT codes. You go hunt EHRs for those medical records based off those CPT codes. Looking for pap smears, mammograms, glucose tolerance test, hemoglobin A1Cs, colonoscopies, things like that. You find those, you upload the results to their EHR in a PDF form, super easy, and if you do a good job, those are seasonal jobs, but you could get hired on permanently. They know you're a coder, and you do a good job doing that. You could be hired on come March for sure, full-time, benefits, great. And it's all remote work, so you can work from home. It's lovely. I love HEDIS auditing. It's great. Thank you so much, Jess, for the rose. All that money is going to be going to donating sections of my notes to people that need it. And that is going to have to be my last question because I've already gone 2.5 hours over, and I got to get back to the family and finish up some housework and stuff. So if you need me, go to my website. You can schedule tutoring there if you want to. Go to my YouTube, please. Coding by Jen has all the old repeat lives. Go to my messenger at Jen Brewer if you want to be part of our messenger group. And pages of the guidelines are there on Etsy. If you want to see real quick what I've done, on the Etsy, it's so cool. I'm going to go here to my little store, and we'll go right here. Right here I have a list of what's been on this CPC exam the last 45 days. It's a raw list, but it's a list of everything that's been on there. And the proceeds to that one go straight to the group to make sure that everybody can get a copy of the notes if they need it. icd10 guidelines. I have the guideline on half the page, just like it is in your book. It'll show you what to highlight in your guideline book. Sorry, that's going to go fast. Show you what to highlight, but I have screenshots in your guideline book. Sorry, that's going to go fast. show you what to highlight, but I have screenshots of what they're talking about in that guideline, what it looks like, examples of how to code it, so you can take that example, move it to the code, and then further examples, just all kinds of stuff with this. It's just really helpful. I've color-coded all the sequencing so that when you go through here and you see anything that is diagnosis related, that'll tell us just all kinds of stuff with this. It's just really helpful. I've color-coded all the sequencing so that when you go through here and you see anything that is diagnosis related, that'll tell you this diagnosis. It's just really helpful. I've color-coded all the sequencing so that when you go through here and you see anything that is diagnosis related, that'll tell you this diagnosis in that guideline is coded. It just gives you a number. It'll be color-coded so you know whether it's first, second, third, or fourth. Super helpful guideline right there. And then I have, and don't worry about it being 2022. There hasn't been much change at all, except for the adding of the money. If you don't have enough money for food, stuff like that, it's not too bad. I backed out of the page, so I'm trying to get back in there. And then I have the guidelines. Oh, the out of sequencing done for you right there for the 2021 books. But then I also have E&M. That's respiratory. Where's E&M, guys? Where's E&M? It's super cool. If I can find it. E&M. For 2022, I have the code. I know you can't tell because of the pink highlights, but I still left the pink highlights there for the code, and it says the comprehensive high that they got rid of, but it's there. The time, the 3 of 3, but what's cool is I have what not to code with certain things. I have all the examples. Why it's so big? I'm going to back out of it again. But I have examples all the way down the sides of every CPT code to tell you how it would look in example questions and answers from AAPC, or how to code them. Super helpful for all the E&M codes all the way down. Super helpful. I don't know if I'm in the same thing or not. Yep, that's the advanced care planning. Yep, how to code it, what things mean. Did you know that Medicare has a, if a patient goes into observation care, you have to fill out a form. It's called a MOON, M-O-O-N. So things like that I have posted in there to help you out for when you do start real coding too. But I am going to get off here. That's enough for tonight. I'll be in chat for the next 2 days. My next live will be Friday, 6:30 Arizona time zone. And if you need me before then, I will be in my email, or I'll be in our chat room, or I'll be on Messenger if you need me. I hope this has been helpful. And don't forget, there's a coupon in my link here on TikTok. So just click on my face as soon as the end of this live, and you can get a coupon if you need it. But I'm happy to teach you for sure for free. Whatever you need to do, you just need to stick around for a few months to learn it all. And join my messenger group for sure. Come find me at Jen Brewer, and that's the free messenger group, okay? I'll see y'all Friday.